Hello everyone and welcome back one last time in 2016. It's Bradley, this is my channel Triple Ink, and today's video is actually an idea that I did not come up with. This is an idea that I saw from the Fragrance Bros channel, and I'll leave a link to this video down in the description box down below, but basically it's my most worn fragrances of this year, 2016. Now I saw this video that the Fragrance Bros put out a little while ago. This is before I even started up my YouTube channel, before I even had the idea, and I said, you know what, this is a pretty cool idea. I want to see what fragrances I am going to be wearing for an entire year. Really thought it would be an interesting idea, so that's what I did. Every single day I wrote down what fragrance I wore for that day. It was a pain, I will tell you. It was very long and very difficult to do, but hey, I did it, and it's really cool to see the results and see what kind of my tastes have been for this year, 2016. So I was showing you some of my most worn fragrances, how many times I've wore them, and it's a very interesting list. Like I said, a lot of fragrances that really surprised me of how much I wore them, and some fragrances I thought I wore them a lot, and I really ended up not wearing them that much at all. And I just want to give you all a little sneak peek into what fragrances I have actually been wearing for this year. So I'm going to start with some honorable mentions. I've worn all of these a total of 6 times. You're thinking 6 times, what? That's hardly any. But you have to understand, I really like to have a lot of diversity in my fragrance collection. That's what I was going for this year. I didn't really want to wear a lot of the same fragrances over and over and over again. I wanted to kind of give every fragrance in my collection a little bit of a shot. So that's kind of why I didn't wear a lot of these a ton, but these are all that I've worn 6 times, which for me is a lot. Start with this one right here, Tom Ford's Tobacco Vanille. This is just a great wintertime scent, very easy to wear. It's a nice warm vanilla scent with a lot of masculinity and tobacco in there. And I find myself wearing this a lot in the wintertime, especially on these really cold winter days. This is when I love to wear this stuff, so I wore this quite a bit over the winter. Next up we have this one from the house of Versace. This is Versace Pour Homme. This is a great high heat versatile summer fragrance that I really enjoyed wearing. It got me a good amount of compliments this summer and just smells great. It's a very inoffensive, bright, citrusy scent. Not the best performance, but I did enjoy wearing it a lot in the hot summer weather. Next up, the other counterpart to Versace Pour Homme. This is Versace Eau Fraiche. I wore this equally as much. This is a little bit different though. This is a little more fruity, a little bit more tropical. I definitely wore this a lot outdoors, and a great high heat summer fragrance. I wore these both a lot in the summertime. Let's keep going with 2 fragrances that are brothers of each other. We're talking about L'Homme, and I'm also talking about La Nuit de L'Homme. I actually wore these 2 the same amount. Very surprised because this is much more wearable. I wear this a lot in the autumn time. Very, very nice, inoffensive, yet clean, classy scent. Whereas La Nuit, this is obviously a legend in the fragrance community. I bought this in the wintertime, wore it once, hated the performance, but I brought it back for the fall, and let me say it just did absolutely amazing. I put a little bit of a warmer weather on this, and it just performed so much better. And I have been digging this a little bit more of a dark vibe that this has over this, but I wore these 2 equally as much. They're really good. And the last one, I wore this a lot in the spring and the summer. I think I actually wore this one 2 or 3 days in a row at one point. That's how much I was digging it. This is Dior Homme Sport right here. Beautiful stuff, a great creation from the house of Dior. Just smells like lemon, a nice little bit of a powdery vibe to it as well, but it has this green woody base that is so awesome. Definitely wore this thing dressed up quite a bit in the summertime, so this is a great, great spring and summer dress up scent that I wore quite a bit. Alright, now let's kick this off, the top 5 list. These are my top 5 most worn fragrances. I wore these next ones 7 times respectively. I have 4 of them to show you. A lot of ties in this list, I know. And 2 of them to start off with the house of Dior, Dior Homme Intense and Dior Sauvage right here. Now these 2, I've worn them quite a bit actually, a lot more than I was expecting. I was pretty surprised with this. This one, I know a lot of people love this. It's just a nice bergamot and Broxton scent. Not my favorite though, because it has weird performance off my skin and has never really gotten me any compliments. DHI, I've been wearing this a lot in the colder weather, especially towards this month. I've worn it quite a bit. Just a very nice powdery scent. Actually is getting better performance on my skin. This is the 2015 batch. So I've worn both of these a good amount of times right here. Alright, this next one, this was my summer all-star, really in terms of compliments. This is Azzaro Chrome, one of my all-time favorite fragrances. It was a beast for me this year. Got a lot of compliments with it, great performance, can be worn pretty much all year long, but I wore it a lot in the summertime, especially night out, and when I wanted to get noticed and get compliments, wore this one quite a bit, did very good for me. And the last one in my number 5 spot place is going to be Dolce & Gabbana's The One. This was my signature scent for this fall. I would like to think of it as that. Just a very nice amber and tobacco scent that I could wear quite a bit. It's a crowd pleaser, it's very masculine, and just a nice fragrance that gets pretty good performance off my skin, so I wore D&G, this is The One, quite a bit. Alright, now we come to my number 4 spot. I've worn each of these 8 times, which is quite a bit for me, and these are my summer fresh fragrances that I find that I've worn quite a bit. Start off with this one from the house of Calvin Klein, CK2. I wore this one a lot more than I thought I would have. I brought it up with me to vacation. It was one of my signature scents on my summer vacation in West Virginia, and just really reminds me of that. It's a very nice aquatic fresh scent. Was released this year, 2016, and it's just really nice, very easy to wear, and a crowd pleaser as well. Next one, this is a super easy to wear dumb reach, definitely in the summertime for me. Dolce & Gabbana's Light Blue, the epitome of a casual summer fragrance. Just smells like kind of a day at the beach. Just very, very nice. Has a salty vibe to it, but is overall very offensive and so easy to wear. I got a lot of compliments with this one as well, and I just have great summer memories with this year. It was a great fragrance for me. All right, next up we have this one, Dior Homme Cologne. Look at that bottle right there, the blue juice shining in the sunlight right there. Dior Homme Cologne was my ultimate high heat fragrance. This summer, where I live in Virginia, one of the hottest summers I've ever encountered here. Literally, we had a couple of days in a row that were like 100 degrees plus, and this is one that I wore for that every time. There's such a dumb reach. You can see I put a pretty good dent in the top of this 4.2 fluid ounce bottle right there, and this fragrance just did such a good job for me. Super easy to wear. I could not go wrong with it in the high heat, and this is definitely my high heat go-to for this year. And last but not least, coming in the number 4 spot of the number 4 list, this is Paco Rabanne's Invictus. I wore this quite a bit in the springtime, actually a lot in the winter when I was kind of like wanting to break out some spring scents, but not really. It's just a sweet bubblegummy fragrance that I know a lot of people don't like, but it has very nice performance, and honestly I ended up wearing it quite a bit. It's got me some compliments, and I'm very surprised that it made it up on this list. Wow, okay, this one is the biggest surprise for me on this list, definitely. Coming in solo 3rd place, wore this a total of 9 times, almost double digits, from the house of Bulgari. This is Aquamarine Pour Homme. Very interesting pick for me. I'm like, wow, did I really wear this stuff that much? What? This was my spring vacation signature scent. I brought this with me down to Fripp Island in South Carolina, right on the beach. I had a very nice week-long vacation there, and it was amazing. I wore this practically every day. It really just reminds me of the salty ocean air whenever I smell it. Just brings me back to the vacation. Super nice, got me a lot of compliments over the vacation. It had great performance, and yeah, I pretty much wore it in the summertime as well. Did great for the high heat, great performance, and I wore this stuff quite a bit. Very surprising to me, but this is definitely my spring break scent. All right, now we're taking out the big guns right here. These are the ones I've worn double digits 10 times total, respectively, each of them. And one is like a winter fragrance, the other is a summer fragrance, which I thought was pretty interesting. Let's start off with a summer fragrance. This is Nautico Voyage, a true dumb reach for me over the summer. Whenever I didn't know what to wear, Nautico Voyage was always the answer. So cheap, you just spray it on. My best complimented fragrance of the summer of 2016, easily. I got so many compliments with this stuff. It just had great performance, which I really, really enjoyed. It's such an inoffensive vibe. I really rocked this one so much this year. And the other pick from the winter side, this is actually an impression oil of Jean-Paul Gaultier's Le Male. This was definitely my winter scent. To me, it smells like cold winter air. I don't know how to describe it, but it's got this lavender, a little bit of a vanilla thing, like a barbershop feel. It's a super easy to wear, classic men's scent. Wore this a ton in the cold weather because it has beastly performance. I can say that this oil right here is equivalent to what the vintage Le Male would be. This stuff projects literally 20 feet. I'm not joking. It's a huge projection bomb, and I wore these both 10 times. Couldn't be different fragrances, but I like them equally as much, and I wore them a lot this year. Okay, we have arrived at my number 1 most worn fragrance of 2016. I can say personally, this is definitely a Swiss Army knife, not only in my collection, but I know in a lot of other men's fragrance collections. Everybody loves this one, everybody's heard of it, and to me it was a true Swiss Army knife. Whenever I wanted to make a great impression, a super solid scent that I know was going to work, smelled expensive, smelled luxurious, but still smelled classy and masculine at the same time, this one fit all those bills for me, and I can say that I wore it at least one time every single month, coming in with a total of 12 wearings for me in 2016. This is from the house of Chanel. It is Bleu De Chanel. I ran through many samples of this stuff right here. So Bleu De Chanel, we all know it. It's a grapefruit fragrance, has some ginger, some incense, just a very masculine scent, but at the same time smells so good and so inoffensive. Gotten a lot of compliments with it, and it's just been a Swiss Army knife. Hey, when I don't know what to wear, Bleu De Chanel. I know I can count on you, buddy. So that's what I wore a ton of in 2016 was Bleu De Chanel. Kind of surprised by it, but at the end of the day, I kind of had it in my mind, like, you know what? I pretty much wear this thing like every month, so it's gonna be my number 1. And that wraps it up. Those are my most worn colognes of 2016. Let me know what fragrances you wore the most of in 2016. Tell me about that in the comment section down below. And yeah, the sun, guys, is setting on 2016. Let me show you this right here. I'm gonna swivel this around right here. The sun is setting in 2016. Just stuck behind the clouds right there. What a great year it has been for me and fragrances. Be on the lookout. I'm gonna put out a little New Year's Eve video coming up pretty soon. There's my Homme Little town right there of Fredericksburg in the distance. So yeah, that was my little video right there, my most worn fragrances 2016. I'll see you later with another video. Peace.